Hello everyone, welcome to Building the Ultimate Matchbox Car Collection. My name is Tyrone and I was wondering if you would indulge me as the noises of the kitchen clamour in the background. This is sort of an experimental video. Seeing as I'm not very good with computers, I thought I'd go very old school with a bit of a holiday pics video. Tyrone's holiday pics. I can't do an electronic slideshow or whatever you hip kids call them, so I brought some photos to class. This is, as I say, a little bit of an experiment. I'm bored. It's late in the day on a public holiday. No, I haven't been drinking. I thought I'd share some of the photos of cars I've taken from around the world. I think most of the viewers of this channel would be something like me in the sense that whenever you go somewhere, the most interesting thing is the car or cars. So without further ado, I can hear you all turning your TVs off right now, or whatever device you're using, but I want to go on around the world with real life cars, or the cars I've taken photos of on my travels. Starting with this one. This was at the Dubai Mall, obviously in Dubai, the beginning of a world trip, and I was going to call this segment around the world with cars, but I don't know. I'll just get on with the show, shall I? These were cars in the Dubai Mall that you could bulletproof if you so wished. I suppose people shoot at you there. There's the Bentley, the Range Rover, the Rolls Royce and the Porsche Spider. You can imagine how heavy that would be. And a Aston Martin there. So instead of very bad photos or very grainy photos, I'll set the rest on this. So from Dubai we went to Moscow, and this was one of the police cars we saw. That was the most interesting part of my day. But of course, if you're higher up in the Muscovites police force or Russian police force, you can have a Beamer. This was 2011, so this was that year's issue Beamer. Somebody was being questioned there. Hopefully they made it out alive. Skipping trips, this was in a place called Arcachon on the Brittany coast of France. They were having a bit of a car rally day with their very expensive cars, Bentleys. A car I hired, not particularly interesting, in England, the Skoda Octavia. A more interesting car we hired in the UK on another trip was this Mercedes. We nicknamed it Merkel. In all fairness, we weren't going for a convertible. They didn't have the Mercedes we paid for, so they upgraded us to her. I believe it was a 9-speed automatic, and you could put the roof down at speed. That was fun. Expensive, but fun. So that was that one. Then we got a downgrade, again on another trip. That was Versailles, or just outside of Paris. We hired ourselves a golf cart, and we went off the beaten track, and the thing just quit. So they were obviously monitored, and you couldn't go anywhere you weren't supposed to. Through the Pyrenees, different trip, little Beamer. Not sure if every country on the planet gets these, but Australia does, obviously Europe does. That went okay. We went all through Spain and the Pyrenees, Andorra, and a little bit of France with that one, and zipped around the holidays. This is back to the world trip. From Moscow we did other countries, but we wound up in Vegas. I think that's way out of sync. But we'll go through it. This really is Uncle Tyrone's holiday snaps, isn't it? This is 2011. That's the Strip in Vegas. Me behind the wheel being naughty with the camera. That was Los Angeles. We were... I couldn't work out how many lanes this was because they were not clearly defined. But we were following a Crown Victoria police car, which I was so thrilled about. I had to take a photo, much to the wife's disgust. We hired one of these from New York. We drove up to Canada, and I hope these are all in focus. I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. We drove from, complete with Florida plates, hired it from New York, drove it up to Toronto via Niagara Falls, and back down to Washington via Gettysburg. Fun trip. We called that the flying sofa because it just sort of floated as it glided along the road. And yeah, too many degrees of separation between you and the road, I fear. But we had a good time. Skipping moments in that trip. This is the Mexico border with San Diego. And the most interesting thing of that was the police car. So that was fun. I think this was Pennsylvania. Again, police car in the shot. Guess who took that one? Washington, DC, at the Capitol, obviously, United States Capitol Police, Crown Victoria. That was the Canadian-US border. Some pretty cool cars in that shot. Box truck, and not box truck, the big boxy trucks, should I say. That's a box truck, I guess. So that was fun. That was Toronto. If you want to stretch limo, just go to Toronto. I'm sure that actually we saw one in Vegas, a black one. Crazy big. I mean, these things are crazy big. And then, yeah, Americans do cars large. Hired a Chevy Impala from Tucson, Arizona, and drove all around that part of the country. That was in Williams, near the Grand Canyon. And same location, different car. We didn't hire that one, I just liked the look of it. So I took a photo of it. Moving right along. Speaking of Impalas in New York, gee, we are skipping all over the place, aren't we? Next to my favourite kind of taxi, the Crown Victoria. Oh man, I took so many photos of police cars and taxis on that trip. This is going back 2011, so you know. That was the view from our little apartment we hired for a number of days in New York. I forget the name of the street, probably had a number. Yeah. Oh, this is the car I wanted to hire for my 40th. Yeah, this is a Cadillac. The big dream was to go to New York on my 40th and drive a Cadillac through it. Didn't happen. Avis didn't have the Cadillac I wanted on the day, didn't have any Cadillacs on the day I was there. Did offer the guy cleaning the cars $50 if he could locate one for me. He couldn't. He did ring around all the other Avis rental car places in Manhattan and failed. So they gave me this one. I've showed this photo on my channel before. This is what I hired on my 40th birthday, New York City. Took it up to the Hamptons. This photo thing I'm doing was actually kicked off with a few viewer comments. Just fans of the show saying, have you shown your face on the show? And the answer was no. But the next best thing, here he is. I mean, this is me 10 years ago. Imagine I've aged a decade. Cigar in his chops. Funnily enough, that was not a Cuban cigar, because the idea was to be choking down a Cuban cigar while driving a Cadillac through New York. Strange what we dream of, isn't it? I bought this cigar off a guy in a 7-Eleven in New York City, down the street from where we were staying, and he was a bit mystified as to why I'd want to buy he was a bit mystified as to why I thought I could buy a Cuban cigar in 2011. This was a Dutch cigar. I don't smoke, but that was a good cigar. Anyway, that's my mug. I'm Tyrone. And the peculiar thing about this photo, apart from the awesomely cool car, is I don't often run a comb through my hair, and I seem to have done for this photo. So, yeah. That was in the Hamptons, upstate New York. We lunched in the Hamptons. Driving around in this thing in the Hamptons, we felt there's a term in Australia called cashed up bogans. A bogan is mullet hairdo. Think Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's a bogan in Australia. Cashed up bogan is one of those who does FIFO work, fly in, fly out, who is on enough money to drive a Camaro. Tyrone gets his jollies any old way. Anyway, so I'll wrap it up with a shot of actual diecast cars, seeing as this is a diecast channel, for goodness sake. But to round off the photo day, whatever, video, is my favourite photo when it comes to cars, and that's me behind the wheel of the Camaro. We nicknamed it Crazy Town, in line with the town we were driving through, New York City. And look at the view, come on. Crown Vic and a Lincoln town car, I believe it is. These things were everywhere. I mean, it was New York. What a trip. So there you have it, Tyrone's holiday snaps. If you're still watching, let's actually look at some Matchbox cars. Partly today was inspired by an upcoming video of Twice Diecast's mail call. David, thank you for this. I did get it out of the box, or the packaging, and fantastic automobile. Not a Matchbox, but goodness me. Chrysler 300C. Goodness me. Along with other cars that David sent me. I have a friend in the States, you know, and he sends me many gifts. So yeah, that was a little bit of indulgence on my part. I hope you're still with us, and thanks for letting me share. I'll see you next time. Bye.